Welcome back to the FRC Top 25 for week number 4. Another fresh batch of 25 teams who have fought hard, especially week 4 with so many events this week to earn your votes. Of course, we're going to count down the top 25, debut our clips of the week once again, and have a healthy debate with the live chat on some teams that didn't make it. But we're going to actually show off the top 50 this week because we had so many votes come in. We just have so many deserving teams to show off. All this coming up on the FRC Top 25. Your destination for first content, updates, and gaming.
Welcome to the fun.
First Updates Now is supported by Striker Careers. If you are a college student or recent graduate looking for an incredible internship, take a look at Striker. Striker provides a housing stipend, great pay, and an opportunity to work with state-of-the-art medical technology equipment. Discover why so many First alumni are coming to Striker for their internship or career at careers.stryker.com. First Updates Now is supported by Kettering University. Kettering University hosts 3 co-op employment fairs each year for incoming and current students. Participating in the co-op employment process at Kettering is a great way to begin turning your robotics experience into a professional career to earn money towards graduating debt-free. If you are a senior, it's not too late to apply at kettering.edu/apply. And welcome back to the FRC Top 25 for week number 4. Teams have been fighting all over once again to see where they're going to rank this week, and we can't wait to show you where they line up. For First Updates Now, I'm Tyler Olds.
I'm Christina Tia.
I'm Justin Montoys.
And I'm Mike Stark. As Tyler said, we have a new set of teams to talk about in week 4. And week 4 obviously was one of the busiest weeks in First in terms of the amount of events. And it definitely showed in the FRC Top 25 as we had over 450 votes come in with 650 teams, different teams voted for on this week. Absolutely mind-blowing. Justin, I remember back in the day we used to do this by hand. So thank you. Thank you the tabulation software that we have now. So big shout out to Justin and Christine, who both had event wins this past week. Christine, and your team on 125 secures their second blue banner of the season. So how are you, and how's 125 feeling so far?
Yeah, it feels good. We not only took home a banner this past weekend, but we successfully hosted and ran the Greater Boston District event. And I think it went really, really smoothly. We had a lot of great volunteers at the event. And shout out to Steve Vieira, who won Volunteer of the Year at our event. And we did some research. He had been reffing for 11 years and across 3 countries overall. So it was a really exciting weekend. And then for us as a team, it was really great to kind of hit our stride. And yeah, overall, it was crazy to see the level of play across the board. I was keeping an eye on the other district event happening in our district, and they were putting up some really high scores as well. And congratulations to Justin. I was so excited to check my phone and see like, wah, wah, wah. Justin finally won.
Yeah,
So
I was finally winning is a great way to describe it. 3 events for the first time in our team's history. Finalist twice, and then able to get the win, and to win with our friends on 340 was also extra special. We have 2 drivers who are seniors who didn't get a chance to compete at all in 2020, obviously 2021 as well. So this is kind of our last chance to win a regional, and we're really happy to get the job done for them and the rest of our team.
Yeah, absolutely. It was so great watching both your teams this weekend. Justin, that ends, your season here, the regional season at least, with 5 medals, 2 banners. Absolutely incredible for you guys.
Not too bad.
Not too bad at all. So, yeah, I was watching a little bit this week, too. There's just, so much to keep track of, and especially with some of the Israel events, too. It's like, I feel like, especially, like, Justin, because, your team and SBPLI are doing regionals on weird times and weird days, like normal. So I feel like we just have, nonstop robot action the last, 3 weeks, it feels like, which has been absolutely incredible. So, I think the game is progressing pretty well. I enjoy watching it. I'm still really upset pretty much with the G204. Don't want to really, hammer this in, but it just personally, I just feel like it's not being consistent called across events, which then really affects teams. Watching refs stare at a team who commits a GO204 and doesn't call it, then so it just, anyways, I think it's a great game so far. I'm really excited to see kind of how we were talking a little bit pre-show, just how this is going to be at the district championship level, kind of get a glimpse into what happens at championship. So yeah, very exciting.
So I was at the Wisconsin Regional this weekend, and it's actually funny you bring up G204, Mike, because to my astonishment, I actually felt like G204 was like not called at all at the Wisconsin Regional. And I'm going to be honest with you, if I had to choose one or the other, I'm okay with that because the play
100%
went
100%.
way more fluent. I mean, there were times where it was like blatantly obvious that a G204 should have been called, and it was like go. And like you said, you know what? If it didn't kill the robot or anything like that, I'm totally cool with it. The play kept going. It was nice to see. I mean, there was some instances. I mean, finals one ended in a red card due to overly aggressive defense, that sort of thing. By the way, which that team, which I had the film behind the bumpers with, for one specific reason, is that they put giant jet leaf blowers on their robot, and their strategy that actually worked was to blow cargo away from other teams. They really just play defense.
That's amazing.
And they did, so it's kind of like the Spectrum strategy with the cue ball thing, right?
Yeah.
But in auto, they would literally turn on these leaf blowers and blow the cargo away from their opponents from picking up extra cargo.
Insane.
Yeah, it was so cool to see. And shout out, by the way, to a friend and mentor of that team now, Danny Blau, who worked for AndyMark very, very long time as a mentor on that team. And you can just see how excited and proud he was of his team for all that. We'll air it out. To be honest with you, I mean, the robot otherwise it's a kid in a box with a mid-level climb, but to see a robot that has jet blowers on it was
how loud was
pretty
it?
Cool. It wasn't that bad, actually. Quite
Really?
quite surprisingly, it wasn't that bad at all. I did put the microphone next to it, and the ones that we have are especially good at cutting out sounds like that. But it actually wasn't too bad. But they, I mean, I literally watched it, and I think they said it was up to like 12 or 14 feet that it would blow cargo.
That's wild.
So that was cool. That was my highlight. Was seeing a bunch of good friends at a local event and seeing that robot in action was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that and the jump bot is two really cool.
Yeah.
robots.
Oh my god! So that 4907, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thunder stamps. Wow, that's so cool. So all right. So before we get into the top 25, any other conversations? Sorry, Mike, I cut it on you there.
No, I think that's it. No,
I think we can do that. So a couple things real quick to talk about as we get in. Once again, if you're not familiar, you're going to see a bunch of different graphics on screen for things. The top one will be what the community vote was. Once again, we take the community, take the votes based on that. Just a general warning. If you try to rig the votes, we will catch it, and your team does get docked and penalized. So don't do that. No matter how sneaky you think you're doing, trust me, it is blatantly obvious to us. We've been doing this for way too many years to see every single way that things have been done. So please don't do that. It just makes me take longer to do stuff, and let's just not do it. But besides that, as mentioned, with so many votes coming in, there's a very wide range of teams. So that's where we're going to show up. We're going to run through the top 50 later on during the show. So if you see a team that wasn't mentioned, I mean, there were so many teams that competed this week, and in the top 25, 650 unique individual teams were mentioned. So that kind of shows you the breadth of how big this week really was for things. A couple other notes, ISR 3 and 4 were included in this week, but ISR championships were not. So you can vote for any ISR championship teams for week 5. Long Island 1 and 2 were included for this week as well, too. 1 is really the important thing that was included for this. And then on stats on the bottom, you're going to see from Caleb Sykes some rankings. ELO is a general ranking structure used in many other events for things. None of this is perfect, by the way, but at least gives you a barometer where stuff is. You're also going to see for the week and that week only where they lined up for autonomous, tele-up, and endgame. If a team did play in multiple events in 1 week, example like they played in the 2 Long Island events, we took their week 2 or their second event ranking for that. I don't think I'm missing anything, but if you have any questions, type in chat. There's many people that will help you out and go through the process. But just a reminder, vote. Y'all did a fantastic job this week, and we're getting back to 2020 levels again. It's an exciting thing to have. So please make sure you vote. It will open on Sunday whenever I get home from my flight from Las Vegas, and then it will close at Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern pretty promptly for that. So go ahead and vote. And then my clips of the week, submissions are coming in well, right?
Yeah, clips of the week is doing very well. It's always kind of it's interesting to see kind of what comes across. Some are funny, some are great plays, some are all sorts of things. So we get a little bit of everything and kind of just assemble what works. And we will be showing that at our 10 break, I believe. So
that sounds right.
Stick around for that. And then those are definitely archived on YouTube as well. So that will be there. So I believe that's it. Are we ready to get into the top 25?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So leading us off in our 25th spot is Team 5406 from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and Bishop Bryan Catholic Secondary School. It's Celtics, an overall record of 11-4. They were the winners this past weekend at the Waterloo District event, or one of them. Sorry, I didn't break down which one. So 5406 captains the number 2 alliance and takes down 610 and 2056 in the first round, and then beats 11-14 in the second round, and they're here at 25th. So a crazy event, as in both rounds, because they just have kind of the semis and finals. Both rounds, they lost the first match, and then they won 2 straight for the win there. So they're a tank dive robot, and their turret and their hood line up very quickly to the hub. And shoot really fast to elude defense. So they also have a nice traversal climb there at the end. So congrats to Celtics. Made their debut. I mean, time is crazy now, but they made their debut, I think, just recently, not too long ago. And what a great way to start 2022 for them. And what a great way to start the FRC Top 25 this week. So anytime you're taking down names like that, definitely have a good robot to show for it. So congratulations to Celtics.
Yeah, incredible event. We'll talk much more about this event, I'm sure, as we go through the top 25.
All right. In our 24th spot, it's going to be Team 3015 from Spenceport, New York, and Spenceport High School.
Hey-o.
It's Ranger Robotics. Overall record of 38-12, and they were the winners of the Buckeye Regional. So they were finalists, Engineering Inspiration at FLR. We kind of already talked about 3015 a little bit. They were finalists and Chairman's Award winners at TVR. So looking for that robot blue banner. And here, this past weekend at the Buckeye Regional, they were the number 1 seed there with I forget what their ranking score average was, but very high in there. And we're able to take home the dub this past weekend. So I'll talk a little bit personally, just kind of what I've seen about 3015, and then Justin obviously can come in here a little bit too. But 3015 is a great autonomous mode. They're usually always good for 4, and they can sometimes squeeze out a 5th ball as well. They play smart. They have a dual-sided intake, dual-sided shooter, which is just a great design, and we've talked about that before. But and a nice traverse climb there at the end, which they're always good for that. So, Justin, congratulations on the win, man, this week. I've really been watching you guys at all 3 events that you've been at. Just was really hoping that this was the one. You guys have been so close these last 2 events. And anything you'd like to add on 3015 here?
Yeah, I mean, and just thank you for the support. You're always watching, super supportive when we're competing, which I really appreciate. Yeah, it's been a really fun competition season for us. Competing 3 times is a lot. It's the most that I've ever done ever. But it was worth it to get our kids the extra play, especially after getting robbed out of 2020. I think that we're a little overrated here in the 24th spot. I think there's, just looking at the list, there's some other very, very deserving teams out there, but we're happy to have made the list. We're happy to get that blue banner, and we're really excited to go to Houston.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Congrats again, man.
Thanks.
All right. See, freaking Nick, man. In our 23rd spot is going to be Team 624 from Katy, Texas, and Cinco Ranch High School. It's Kryptonite, which I never realized why the Sierra was capitalized, but it's for Cinco Ranch, their high school. Now, the more you know. They were 28-6, and they were winners of the Pasadena event. After their semifinal exit at the Waco event a couple ago, 624 took the field. They would go 11-1 with the 3.66 rank score average, and that would be enough for the number 1 seed, and they'd have the pick of the field. With scores between 93 and 111, they would take the event in 6 matches. So they just have a really great looking machine out there. The Swerve just dukes out their defense, and the JIT can score from anywhere. That being said, they do like to post up on the launch pad, but if that's kind of taken or defended, they'll just swerve around you and just dunk on you anyway. So their traverse climb kind of has like a single arm, but a dual arm, if that makes sense. They use 2 different arms, but only single in the middle of the robot. A lot of teams are kind of using that dual arm setup, but very cool traverse climb there at the end for them. So good luck to Kryptonite as they head to the First in Texas District Championship. In our 22nd spot is going to be Team 4476 from Kingston, Ontario, Canada. It's the Waffles. 24-12. They were the winners at the Waterloo number 1 event and quarterfinalists at the Waterloo number 2 event. So
semifinals technically. There's only
Thank
semis.
you very much.
Yep.
Yes, you're right. Waffles are definitely an FRC top 25 favorite here. The Bibics on the team are just great people as well. I think we got to, it seems like forever ago now, Justin, that we've been up to Canadian events. But they would be semifinalists and take home the Chairman's Award at Humber event, which was their first event. And then this past weekend, they would start out at the first Waterloo Day, ranked second with a 2.88 ranking score average, and would be selected number 1 overall. They would win their first match with scores of 116 and 101. And in the finals, they won their first match handily, DQ'd in their second, and then they would pick up that win in the rubber match. At the second day, they would take the number 1 seed, improving by 1 spot there, but would unfortunately lose in the first round. So Waffles is kind of like a slowish-ish but steady robot. Reliable. They really like to shoot against the hub, but can really also shoot from all over and against the launch pad as well. They do cap off the match with their nice traverse climb. So congratulations to the Waffles. It was great seeing you. You're in the top 25. And as I was talking about before, just again, taking down some of these big teams there is awesome. So congratulations to them. And lastly, here in our 21st spot is going to be Team 340 from Churchville, New York, and Churchville Chadai High School. It's Team Gurr, an overall record of 28-6. They were the winners of both the Finger Lakes and Buckeye Regionals. So 340 at FLR, they had good shots, a little inconsistent. They were falling quite a bit from their climbs. In their second event, Buckeye, this past weekend, they had great shots, little to no falls, playing smart, earning their ranking points. They were selected number 1 overall by their shop mates, 30-15. So Churchville and Spencerport are really close to each other. And then they'll be headed to Houston with 2 blue banners and a really load of confidence. Personally, I think one of the most they're poised to make the deepest run at championship that they've had in quite a long time. So they have a great looking shot. Like I said, really can zip around the field and shoot really from anywhere. Justin, any other comments having worked with 340 at this past event and playing against them at Finger Lakes?
Yeah, well, playing against them sucks. Playing with them is a heck of a lot better. It was something that, like Mike said, we do share a practice field with them. We work very closely with them. It's Mike and I's, alma mater. I don't know what you call it. Yeah. Mike and I was an old team. So a lot of good friends over there. And it was just great to see. Like you said, they struggled a little bit with their climb at FLR, but man, they were just incredibly consistent at Buckeye. We were fortunate to just edge them out ranking wise, even though they definitely had a better robot than we did. We were super happy to be able to pair up and get the win.
Fletch, I think this is one of your guys. Fletch is saying it's 30-15, 340, the new 11-14, 2056.
No, not at all. They're both way better. They're both way better than us. We try.
A humble response.
Yeah. No, it is a lot of fun. We're very fortunate. I can't describe how lucky both teams are and have been over the years to have each other, 10 minutes down the road. We always joke that, if we need anything on 30-15, we just call Gurmart because they'll have what we need on their short drive away. So it's a great relationship and something we hope to continue to foster for years to come.
Very cool.
Later on, we're going to be talking about, I think, some teams that had dramatic event 1 to event 2 improvements. But Justin, I don't know if you agree with me. From at FLR day 1 to day 2, 340 was incredibly improved, and it just seems like they just kept getting better and better the whole way through. And with their climber getting a bit more fixed too is definitely a big help.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're a team that wants to win as much as anyone, and they don't quit. We saw them right after FLR. We went to Tech Valley, and they just went to work, improving, and you saw that on the field at Buckeye.
Mm-hmm. Nice. All right. So before we get into Christine's group of 5, I believe we're going to hear about the Kettering Robotics Center. Is that correct?
Yeah. We're going to just talk about Kettering University a little bit. We got to make some money, right? And thank them a lot for supporting First Updates Now and our content and our programs. So we're actually going to hear a little bit more about financial aid at Kettering University. If you're looking for a great engineering school to go to, or like Mike said, First Robotics Community Center, they have combat robotics teams, esports, and 30% of their people that attend Kettering had a high school robotics experience. So let's hear a little bit more about Kettering University and financial aid.
When I was considering where to go to college, one of the biggest things for me was figuring out how I was going to be able to pay for college. And it wasn't really until I came to Kettering to one of the Dog Days of Summer events that I figured out how I was going to be able to do that. And it was actually because of the senior chemical engineering student. She was getting ready to graduate and she had told me about all of her phenomenal experiences, both on co-op and here on campus. But more importantly, she told me that she was going to graduate debt-free. And that was an eye-opener for me. That was the first time I'd ever heard that from a college student, and so that's when I knew that I was sold. So really from there, as soon as I came to Kettering, I knew that that was going to be my goal. I wanted to graduate debt-free. And I did that through a variety of ways. First, of course, the co-op experience was a tremendous help, but I even looked at ways to work here on campus. So I was a federal work study student. I worked in a variety of organizations, and that not only gave me the extra funds, but also different opportunities to meet people and understand our resources here at Kettering. Also looking at scholarships not only here at Kettering University, but even from my hometown and other sources, all of this cumulatively helped me to graduate debt-free.
And at the number 20 spot, we're going to roll right into it. We have Team 1771 from Suwanee, which I think I said correctly, Georgia. It's North Gwinnett Robotics. This Petrie team won their second event this season at the Carrollton event, going 17-1-0 overall with the number 1 seed and taking home the Innovation and Control Award to boot up some more points. They rounded out their alliance with a couple of young guns, 8736, the Mechanisms, and 8849 Storm Robotics. 1771 and their robot Momentary are having an amazing season so far with an overall record of 34-2-0, currently sitting second in the Petrie District rankings. Their silky smooth Swerve and tall turreted robot are absolutely lighting up the upper hub in every single match, and it's making them one of the best scorers in all of FRC. I'll be honest, when I was watching some of these matches this afternoon, I was having a really fun time watching them like swerve around and drop that intake. So kudos to them. It was definitely my first time really seeing them in action, and they were hitting so many shots consistently during those playoff rounds and during their qualification matches at this event. So I'm excited to see them at the Petrie District, whatchamacallits?
Championships.
Totally just like, yep, that one.
One of the things I'll say that's really interesting with this team, in this match in particular, this is a 3v1 match. We talked about this on recap yesterday. I had no clue this happened until they brought it up on recap. But this team was the only, in a semifinal match, was the only team that played, and they won a 3v1 match. So really cool to see some Peachtree representation coming in the FRC top 25. And man, 1771, holy crap. Like, where did this team come from? It's so cool to see, and this is one of the teams I would rank a bit higher. They just seem to be incredible. Now, didn't have tons of defense played against them necessarily for what it was, but still incredible scoring prowess from them.
I would agree with that. And I mean, you can't not love the color scheme. Moving on to number 19, we have Team 5940 from Redwood City, California. It's Bread, going 17-2-0 overall and receiving number 2. The Breads were chosen first overall by Team 1323 Madtown, and the alliance was rounded out by Team 1280 and went on to win the Monterey Bay Regional. I've been waiting my whole life to say this. Team Bread has finally got that bread. They take home their first ever event win. That's pretty insane that it's taken them this long.
Wow.
Yeah, and an extremely well-deserved victory. So congratulations to not only all of them that are currently on this team, but all the alumni that have worked hard to see this happen. So 5490 is the real deal. After a few small bumps on practice day, Bread turned it on and became a real force atop the Monterey Regional alongside 1323. Rocking dual intakes on their swerve base along a super accurate shooter makes them a robot archetype that seems to be boiling to the top of Rapid React. With so much emphasis put on slowing down 1323, Bread was left alone frequently to run up the score. So congrats to finally getting that bread, Team Bread. And we're going to move on to number 18. It's 33 from Auburn Hills, Michigan. It's the Killer Bees. So no stranger to the top 25. Yeah, get your gyms on bag.
That's right.
Be hype on.
Yeah, jump.
The Bees took home another blue banner, winning the Belleville District event this weekend. 33 went 15-4-0 overall and finished ranked 4th. They were chosen by the number 1 seed, 4362 CSPA Gems, and rounded out their alliance with 1025 IMPI Robotics and backup bot 815 Advanced Power. The Bees brought home a lot more consistency to Belleville than they did in Detroit and showed up in all areas of the game. Their unique traversal climber worked well throughout the weekend, and they wrap up this regular season currently ranked #1 in the Michigan district with 154 district points. So congratulations to 33 and the Killer Bees.
Yeah, and 33 definitely scoring-wise was doing quite a bit better. If you look at their finals matches at their first district where, I mean, they didn't have a lot of help, mind you, but, I mean, they won a district with 55 points in their first one. Bees and Gems especially, too, scoring right around 100 points in finals and in quarters and semis over 100 points. So a good improvement from the Bees. I still think there's more opportunity for the Bees to get even better, but definitely a much better showing, in my opinion, than their first event.
And I stand corrected, they're not ranked #1 anymore.
If only they put who was ranked #1, so we had that context, I guess. But
moving on. Number 17, another Michigan team from Saline, Michigan. It's team 3538, the Robo Jackets. A perfect weekend for 3538, going 18-0, en route to victory at the Saline District, presented by DTE. The Jackets selected team 1023 Bedford Express and 55-59 Gear Grinders to round out the #1 alliance and cruise their way to an event win, going 6-0 in the playoffs. The Road Jackets appear to have another well-built, smooth operating machine on their hands for 2022, especially after their second district win this year. They're making a run for best tank and turret bot in FRC this year. Their ability to keep robots to the critical essentials is impeccable, and they'll be a force at Michigan State Champs in a couple of weeks.
So according to PJ, the Robo Jackets are now #1 ranked in Michigan. So congrats to them. But yeah, I agree with you. Robo Jackets looking really, really good this year, and pretty efficient, and going with that West Coast drive, mind you, as well too. But able to score cycles just as quick as some of the top teams out there.
I mean, that's pretty impressive to go 18-0 as a fellow district team to be able to do that. Not only is it like a bragging rights kind of thing, but it is Point City, because you are just raking them in. So congratulations to them. I think it's pretty amazing that they're in first.
Yeah.
And rounding out my set of teams is number 16. We have team 2056 from Stony Creek, Ontario. It's OP Robotics. The legendary OP team, like all Ontario teams, overcame a ton of obstacles to field another great machine at the University of Waterloo Day 2 event, going 6-3 to claim the 5th seed. They were chosen 3rd overall by 610 and took the semis to 3 rounds, losing to the eventual winners. Always the gold standard of efficiency, the 2056 machine takes their classic tank drive, combines with a turreted shooter, and adds in a clean traversal climb on top. Playing from the third seeded alliance was likely an odd feeling for OP, but their alliance put up a tremendous fight against a very stiff #2 alliance.
Yeah, I mean, OP Robotics, I don't know if I'm conflicted about this, but like, I mean, they seem to get better and better, and their cycle times are quick on things. Their auto is really good this week on things, but kind of like 33, to me, they have so much of a higher ceiling to still reach for what they can do. So, you know, I'm looking forward to 2056. You know, I talked to Tyler Holtzman, it was probably like a month or so ago as they're coming in, and, you know, like many teams in Canada, they didn't even enter their building until week 3 of build season. So the field for any of these teams to field the robot and be where they at is very impressive. But I can't wait to see OP at their next event to see what efficiencies they're trying to make with their robot.
Yeah, absolutely. I would not count them out or say that this is, you know, the last we'll see of them.
It's not their final form.
Obviously, this is not their it's not their final event. They're going to be competing week 6, which gives them an awful lot of time to not only kind of practice, but watch any like strategy change that's going on and to really get ready for their Ontario District St. Mary CSS event day 1 that will be happening week 6.
Cool deal. I think we're going to roll right into the next group, right? I think Justin's on that.
Yeah.
No breaks, no giveaways, no nothing.
No, we got 5 more until that.
All right.
Keep it moving.
Good. All right. So here in the 15th spot, we have team 1577 from Rayana Hamerkas, Israel. It's and Aviv High School. It's Steampunk. 46-8 overall, and with the winners of the ISR event 1 and 3. as well as the Israel District Championship. So I do want to point out once again that I think that Israel can do better than events 1, 2, 3, and 4. We got to figure out some cool names. Some of these other district names are awesome and descriptive, and we got to get past the numbers, I think. But anyway, after ranking second at both the district events, 1577 earned the #1 overall spot at the district championship with an impressive 3.83 ranking score average. They quickly scooped up Orbit, their playing partner for every playoff match this season, including obviously their previous district events, and along with 3065 able to get the win. They're a tall robot without a turret, but doesn't stop them from shooting well, and their fast traversal, a wide flat intake, adds up to 3 blue banners on this incredible season. So congrats to 1577, and we'll look to see where they end up in Houston. So if you guys, I don't know if you guys have seen their intake, it's very reminiscent of those early, I think like Chief Delphi had a intake like that early, like 2001, 2002, with the belts in different directions. I think from what I saw, that's what their intake looked like. It's very, very
the polycord intake thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen a few robots. A local team that I think of is Garrett Ford tends to do a lot of that. 2338 out of Illinois. Yeah, I mean, it seems to work quite well. One thing I do want to mention, so I've been covering Israel events for Recap. I love watching these events so much. So a couple things to mention on this. The rankings for this are based off of their last event, not the ISR championships. So none of these stats or anything like that are based on that. And you will be able to vote for Steampunk next week for ISR championships as well, too. But Steampunk, if you look at them from ISR 1 to ISR 3, dramatically improved. Like, I know they were still the #2 seed in both of them, but their RS went from like 1.8 something to like 3.2.
Wow.
And behind Orbit all the way on that, but nonetheless still doing great. Now go to ISR championships, which we'll talk a bit more in depth next week. They just kept getting better and better. So I look forward to seeing where they're going to land next week. It may be a little bit less competitive field because there's not going to be as many teams competing next week. And in 1577 really is the real deal. Easy to get overshadowed by Orbit, but Steampunk really is the real deal as well.
Very good. All right, moving on. In the 14th spot, we have Team 694 from New York, and Stuyvesant High School. It's Stuypulse.
Like High Pulse.
That's right. 29-5 overall and undefeated 16-0 this past weekend on their way to winning Long Island Regional #2. After a strong finalist performance at FLR week 2, 694 figured out one thing that kept them out of probably the top spot at FLR, which was their traversal climb. This added to their deadly 5-ball auto, allowed them to seed 1, winning nearly each of their matches by 30 or more points and nearly a perfect ranking score of 3.9. They selected Team Rice and 2869 for the playoffs. After 6 matches, it was over with the Alliance scoring over 100 points 5 times, topping out at a whopping 140. So after my team was able to, or fell just short with them at FLR, we were super pumped to see them get the win on Long Island. They're not done quite yet as they look to add one more blue banner to their collection next weekend at New York City.
I just want to say this is another one of those teams where, Stuypulse I thought did well at FLR, but at FLR I thought they were a tier below some of the other teams there, and it's great to see them kick it back up a notch and be the top tier team that many of us have known them for.
Yeah, they did, and their 5-ball auto was just so consistent.
Yeah.
Their traversal climb, they figured that out, and it's an impressive machine right now. All right, moving on. 13th, we have Team 5172 from Greenbush, Minnesota. Greenbush Middle River School. It's the Gators. 31 wins, only 1 loss overall, and the winners of the Northern Lights and Great Northern Regionals. A lot of Northern success. After a nearly perfect first event, the Gators went undefeated on their way to their second win of the season, a 3-point ranking score. They selected 876 and 64-53 for the playoffs. The Alliance did start out a little slow with a score of 68 and they faces some tough defense. And I saw their first match that almost all of the red balls on the other side of the field. So a little bit unlucky there. They quickly got better, however, finishing their last 4 matches, scoring over 100 points. And finals 2, a beautiful 7-ball auto routine from the entire Alliance with a great 5-ball from 5172 set them well on their way to the second blue banner of the season. So congrats to them as they head to Houston in a couple weeks. 5172, the Gators.
Yeah, this is a team I've been following for a while. I really like the Gators. I'll said it before. I think they're the best team ever to come out of Minnesota, robot performance-wise. And there are 200-plus teams in Minnesota, so I think sometimes another team that can get overshadowed a little bit, but obviously getting some good attention from the community and well-deserved as well, too, as the Gators consistently making great robots, really great at their tele-op scoring, and can't wait to see them at championships. We're definitely a team I can't wait to get an interview with. Always a great time to talk with their team. Once again, out of a city of 500 people that this incredible robot comes out of.
Oh, that's this team. I was remembering there was a team
and they have that documentary. If you haven't, a Small Town Robot. If you didn't see that a few years ago, cool documentary to learn more about their team and what really small population cities go through.
Yeah. Gators is a great team.
We talked about that on the show for a number of years. So really, really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In the 12th spot, we have team 125 from Boston, Massachusetts, Boston, Latin, Brookline, and Revere High School. Is the Neutrons? 43 wins, 9 losses, and a tie overall. And with the winners, the North Shore and Greater Boston District events. So building on their performance at their second event, the Neutrons captured the #1 rank this past weekend. In the face of fairly consistent defense, 125 was able to scoop up balls and waste little time getting them headed to the upper hub. Their auto usually enables a quintet, and the cargo RP comes fairly easy for them after that. After selecting 55-63 and 63-28 for the playoffs, the Alliance averaged well over 100 points per match and capped out an impressive 134 in quarterfinal 2. After 3 events and 2 blue banners, 125 isn't quite done yet, as they're now prepared to defend their 2019 district championship win in 2022. Good luck to 125, the Neutrons. Christine, great job.
Thank you. It was like, where's my mute button? No, it was a really successful weekend. I was really, really happy to see how well it went. And our tie match was like best case tie. Because it was against 63-28 and neither of us went down in the rankings. So
nice.
It was one of the matches where I was off doing something for a while, like boring, like sitting paperwork kind of stuff, and then reappeared in the gym and was like, we tied. What? There's a lot of ties going on this year, but yeah, it was a really successful weekend for the team. I think we hit over about 3/4 of our matches. We were hitting our 5-ball auto, which I think is absolutely incredible. It's really exciting to see the team really hitting their stride in not only match play, where Patrick, our driver, is just lighting up. Buckets never stop with Patrick. And it's just good to see. I'm excited for district champs, which I believe is where we're heading next, depending on the rankings and invitations and whatnot. I honestly am just
district life.
So what are you going to throw in another district?
Let me send you the shrug emoji.
Is it only the first 2 count still? Is that the way it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. So it was Pine
really?
Tree
Wow.
and North Shore for us. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh wow.
But yeah.
I mean, there's still 60 teams that advance to New England DCMP. You guys can't be worried, I wouldn't think.
The weird squirrely part is there's some auto bids to champs and all this other stuff depending on point stuff, because it is going to be a very, very fast turnaround time from our district champs to saying yes to Houston if you qualify, and then somehow getting your team in
3 days later. Yeah.
It's not Beauty and the Beast. Things just don't print and dance into place without any money or super effort. But we had a really great weekend, and I think it was a really great testament to how our students are able to operate and really take control of things when most of the adults were spread around the event thin as paper running it, and it all went really, really well. So
congrats.
Thank you. It was really, I'm not going to lie, I was surprised to see us up this high. So thanks to all of you that voted. Oh God, Brando said something about you need to be in the car driving 12 hours after the end of DCMP to get to Houston on time.
Oh my God.
Good luck.
That's absolutely insane.
So if you know of anybody that can help out with that,
right,
let us know. By us, I mean any first, but yeah.
Wow.
Thanks.
All right. So the last team I'm going to talk about here before the top 10 in the 11th spot is 1619 from Longmont, Colorado. It's Upper Creek Robotics, 35-0, undefeated this season, winners of the Oklahoma and Colorado regionals. So 1619 has the robot to join #dual shooter gang, just letting you guys know. But even with one shooter, the robot appears unstoppable. They played, I've never heard of this, 14 qualification matches at the Colorado Regional. Wow. I've never heard of Regional playing that many matches. Usually 12 is the max. But they won all of them, scoring over 100 points multiple times. 1619 without a turret puts up shot after shot, most of them hitting home in the high hub. And what I love most about the robot is the windmill style climber. It just looks so consistent. And we, like we talked about pre-show, our team's competed 3 times. I've seen some sketchy climbers. The windmill climbers as a style really are the most, look like the most confident, the most consistent. And I just love that about the robot. So they will take their undefeated season into Houston. They haven't lost a regional since 2018 and look poised to make another deep run in Houston. So good luck to 1619 Upper Creek Robotics, another mainstay of the top 25 recently.
Oh, yeah. You know, one of the things with Upper Creek, I have to admit, when I saw them at Chesney Champs in 2021, I was a little concerned with their robot performance and where that was going to be going. I'm really glad to see that it seems like they're back in true form. To me, the 1619 has that quintessential intake. They always have a very similar looking intake, and that's what I look for in that team. And yeah, like you said, Justin, their cycle times are good, their climbs are good, and it's great to see them in top form again.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so that brings us to our 10 break. At the 5 break, we will show you the top 50 or 26 through 50 at least. And then we'll go from there. So before we get to clips of the week, let's hear about one of our sponsors from Stryker.
Yeah, once again, let's thank Stryker and Stryker Careers for everything that they've done to keep fun, loud, live, and independent. Once again, you should know about Stryker if you've been hearing about fun, but if you're looking for a great career opportunity, somewhere that really you can make a difference at, they're a leading medical manufacturing technology company where you can build some of the coolest stuff. If you're into medical device technology at all and you want to help people, take a look at Stryker, see what they have offering for you. Thousands of jobs available all around the world for you to take a look at. So go to careers.stryker.com. Look at that, 2,600 jobs all around the world. And anything from field-based to remote work to in-office to hybrid, Stryker has something for you. And, of course, students, if you are looking for a future internship, please keep Stryker in mind as they do pay for your housing if you go to their headquarters for that. And there is a QR code on screen if you're interested in scanning to getting more information about their internship and co-op opportunities. Once again, careers.stryker.com. Thank you to Stryker. All right, with no further ado, we will get into our clips of the week for week 4. We gon' make you move. We gon' make you lose. Let me get funky.
Of 177, a new high score for this regional.
There was a card issued, and there's a secondary white card supposed to erase the red one. .41-31 going to the hanger zone. They come back. Do they have one more? They've got it. 1 second left. Can they release it? They do! And it's in! 2046, shooting cargo. It's good. 9:49, 49-15, playing defense. 6 seconds left. 3. Bare metal can get there in 3. Mid, high, traversal. 15-point climb, bare metal.
No, you cannot. Mike, I'm going to take that volunteer award away from you.
All right, so that is the clips of the week. There's a lot of good things in there, a lot of funny, a lot of great plays and all sorts of stuff. That will be on our YouTube, so if you want to see it again, make sure you check that out after the show. that will get us into our top 10. So here we go. They let it off in clips of the week, and they're leading it off here in the 10th spot. It's going to be team 4907 from St. Thomas, Ontario, Canada, and Parkside Collegiate Institute. It's the Thunder Stamps, an overall record of 9-5. They were the finalists at the Waterloo District event. So what a way to make their top 25 debut. They ranked 7th, so the robot-wise, they ranked 7th, had a 6-3 record. They would captain that number 4 alliance. They would select 11-14 and 2200 and upset the number 1 alliance, but they would lose to the number 3 alliance in the finals. So that being said, I think they have a lot of like ceiling, like we talked about for other teams left to be on their robot. But let's talk about their climb here for a good amount of time. This thing is unbelievable and just so amazing. I think we saw it.
You're gonna see it right here.
Yeah, I think we saw it. Somebody posted it in our Discord. That's where I first saw it. I was like, what? And then like it was like a YouTube video we saw it. So definitely a lot of hype coming into this weekend, and just come on, just amazing. Just teams that are like,
that's so nuts.
Just thinking outside of the boxes here, like we talk about with the leaf blowers. Here's this climb. The climb's using the truss. 4907 is just, this will go down in history. 4907 will go down in history for the way that they approached it this year. So congratulations, well deserving of being here in the top 25 just for the engineering feat that this team pulled off this season. Anybody else want to talk about this?
Yeah, I'll jump in a couple things.
Yeah, the craziest thing. Yeah, go ahead, Tyler.
Okay, the 2 things I was going to say is, one, it's easy to overlook their teleop shooting. That they actually are not a bad teleop score. Now, they really didn't have much defense played against them at all because other teams on their alliance are being harassed. But you can see they're able to score teleop just fine. They did not climb in finals 2 and 3 at Waterloo 2, so definitely there's still improvements to be made with their climb. But when it works, they can do it very quick, and that's cool. But it looked like in finals 2 and 3, I don't even think they attempted to climb. So I'm not quite sure what the reason was for that. I'm not sure if chat can provide some insight on that. But yeah, this is so cool, Justin.
Absolutely, and it's I don't want to. It is cool. When I first saw it, it blew my mind and instantly went around our Slack pretty fast. The one thing I want to say though, and I hope they don't get offended by this, the robot is amazing, and when it works, it's great. But it is actually kind of a cute thing when they miss the climb, because the robot just kind of pops up and then goes boing boing and sits back down, and it just is like, it's kind of even.
Totally get it. It's like when I'm on first grade recess duty on Wednesday afternoons outside, and like little friends are trying to reach the monkey bar, and they're just like,
and they miss it, and they're like,
Yep.
It is kind of awesome.
I hope we get to continue. Obviously, we'll see them at I think at district championship, and then really hoping they make it to Houston, because I don't think anybody's done watching where this team goes and watching what they can bring and the spark and stuff.
No, but let's hope they go to an event where they have to decorate and dress up their robot, like a Halloween one. Like,
and they do play a Greater Essex this upcoming week as well.
Oh, great, perfect. Yep. PJ says he does first grade recess duty on Thursdays too.
Sick and right.
Congratulations to 4907. It's just everybody in first, it seems like kind of was aware of you this weekend. So,
absolutely.
Awesome job. Moving on to our 9th ranked team. It's going to be 870 from Southfield, New York, and Southfield Junior Senior High School. It's Team Rice, an overall record of 44-6. They were the winners of the SBPLI number 1 and 2 regionals this past weekend. So after a semifinalist outing at FLR, took a week off, and then they went back to back at the short events in Long Island. They went a perfect 18-0 at the first, taking the number 1 seed. In the second, they were ranked number 2, and they went a perfect 16-0 there. They had a 3.5 and a 3.6 ranking score average across those 2 events. So really great improvements from their first regional. They do have a nice swerve with a turret low shooter, but they really are they're able to outmaneuver the defense and score above or around them. So a nice quick climb at the end. Congratulations to Rice on the dual regional wins this past week. And congratulations moving forward. Justin, any other thoughts from Team Rice after having seen them in person?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess the theme of the show tonight is kind of an improvements, and we mentioned it with us and 340 and 870. We competed with them 694, same. Competed with them at FLR, and we won FLR in 2019 with Rice. We're very familiar with them, having gone to Long Island twice. They're a great team, and they weren't quite. They were good, but they weren't quite at their best at FLR. We watched some of their.
Oh, you cut out there.
On a lunch break, we watched. way better. They were so good at Long Island. We were really happy to see that improvement. And all week they were just, they went back to back, Long Island 1, Long Island 2. They were definitely firing all cylinders all week long. And we couldn't be happier for them to get the wins that they did.
Yeah, I'll say, Justin, too, seeing them at FLR, I did it behind the bumpers with that team, and listening to them and then seeing how they were performing, you knew there was something that they're like, this team can do better, right? And I know that the climber was one thing, definitely, right, but even their shooting was a bit off at FLR. And man, am I so glad to see them perform at this level. I think the 9th spot is a very deserving spot for them. I think that's about right where I would have them. And Rice
has them at 8 here, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, Rice is just a great looking team overall. And so happy to see them doing some great things in the last 2 events.
Rice is nice, as we like to say.
There we go.
It's a very carb heavy top 25 this week, and we got
Brad,
waffles, we got bread, we got rice.
Sure.
Now where are the pasta bots? Like,
need that Team Taters in there soon here.
Hey, Poofy Jacket, thanks for the sub. For 24 months, currently a 4-month streak. Thank you for that.
Wow.
All right, moving on to our 8th ranked team. It's going to be 118 from League City, Texas, and Clear Creek Independent School District. It's the Robonauts, an overall record of 32-4. They were the winners at the Channel View District event. So we last saw the Robonauts after the perfect 18-0 win at Channel View, and they took the field again this past weekend at the Irvine event. 3 huge powerhouses at this event. I think it was really kind of a race for that number 1 seed. 118 would end up 3rd, and they would captain the number 2 alliance. No surprise to me that number 1 alliance in the finals, but would lose in 2 matches with a DQ in finals match too. So as we usually say, see region recaps kind of for the full details there. Not a whole ton of videos up on the Blue Alliance. So a little bit of room for consistency improvement from 118, but still the same old 118 we know and love. So good luck outside of First in Texas this weekend. They will be heading east to the Bayou. I can't. Bayou. I just struggled there for a second. And then we'll see them at First in Texas Championship. So kind of getting out of the district model here, kind of spreading their wings there. I'm not sure if there's anybody else of note.
179 is at Bayou as well.
That's right.
Yeah, 179 will be the other big one, and then probably a tier down from that is 369 Fusion. There's a couple others as well.
Perfect. So congratulations to the Robonauts here at number 8.
So one thing is so much. I think it's easy to look at Robonauts and say, "Hey, this is too high of a team." Robonauts are still really good. Like, I know they didn't win last one. Would I have them a little bit lower? Yeah, personally, I'd still have them in the top 15. But I mean, that's nothing to understate what Robonauts really is. And does anybody think that 179 or 118 are not going to pair up at Bayou and just absolutely decimate that event? I mean, it's going to happen, right? And I can't wait to see them at that performance level, and they're just going to keep getting better and better.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Justin, you were out, but I was like, we don't make predictions often, but usually when we do, it's like sure thing. So yeah. I think the 179 118 alliance would kind of be a prediction we would definitely make.
Yeah, we really go out on a limb with our predictions sometimes.
Yeah, very much so. We're like 100% on our predictions. So.
You guys are, not me.
Yeah. Nah. All right, so from 118 and 8th, we're going to move to our 7th spot. That's going to be Team 1323 from Madera, California, and Madera High School. It's Madtown Robotics. The overall record of 18-1. They were the winners of the Monterey Bay Regional. So this is another team. I forget who we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, but I feel like Madtown is just below kind of the elite tier, really like kind of making their way into that, right? You disagree?
No, they're elite tier. Madtown, totally elite tier.
No, I agree with you there. I'm saying they are, but it's like, I don't think it's one of those teams that you're like, I think you easily skip over, right? You're always talking about the 1678, 254 and et cetera. But like 1323 obviously is like, you always know when they're going to be competing, but it's not like always the first thing that you're looking at. So,
okay. I'll agree with that from a positioning standpoint. Definitely. And I think to your point, Mike, they played in the other California event that was not where 254, 1678, 973 were. So easy to get overlooked on that from a rankings. I mean, they still rank 7th, but
I just mean like everybody knows the Poofs. Everybody knows like Citrus Circuits. And most know Madtown. That's like kind of like where I was kind of going.
Yeah, no, that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. So one of those teams, sorry, let me catch up. So just the team that always dominates. And this year's no different. So their swerve is eloquent as always. They have a very tall, kind of boxy robot here, a clutch auto, and a really like 5-second-ish traverse climb at the end. So they would take the #1 seed at Monterey with a 3.75 ranking score average and a perfect 12-0, and would win the next 6 there to take home that blue banner. So congrats to Midtown. They'll be competing back to back. They'll be at CVR this weekend, and they'll be looking to kind of bring home that blue banner back to back as well. So congratulations to Madtown. And lastly, in our 6th spot is going to be 973 from a Tuscadero, California, a Tuscadero high school. It's the Greybots, 25-11. They were the finalists at the Hunemi and the Sacramento regionals. So we last saw Greybots after their Hunemi regional, where they would lose to 1678 in the finals. And unfortunately, the same fate would happen again this past weekend. I just can't imagine going against 1678 twice. So Greybots would rank 2nd with a 3.63 ranking score average, really high there. They're just so quick around the field. One of my favorites is I don't know if you probably already saw it here, is the coordinated auto that they have kind of with the human player. I don't really see a lot of teams doing this. A lot of teams are kind of waiting until the robot rolls up to the human player station there, and then they roll it out. This team kind of rolls it out ahead of time. They pick that one up first, and then they pick up the static cargo, excuse me. So another solid year for 973. They also will be going back to back, just like 1323 at CVR. So good luck, and I'm sure we'll see you next week for sure. Go and get that gold now. So congratulations to 973.
Yeah, they got to be the best team not to win a regional yet, right? Or an event yet.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 973 looks great. I mean, like you said, they're third man out in 2 events, and that's just the way it happens sometimes.
It is. Yeah. All right, so that before we get into the top 5, Justin's going to take, we'll start our giveaway. This is going to be a $25 Thrifty Bot gift card, and Tyler will have the details for us.
Yep. So once again, our friends at the Thrifty Bot are giving away a $25 gift card. Just think about what you can get with that. You could get 4 2-sticker packs of the Akash School for Kids Who Want to Do Robots Good and other stuff good too stickers. So that's of interest to you. But otherwise, if you haven't heard of Thrifty Bot, they have fantastic products at really thrifty prices. It is true. Thrifty Bot's been one of that new suppliers to the scene that's really been taking the world by storm with their vectored intake wheels and their telescoping tube kit, which is back in stock. So if you're looking at a great off-season project coming up, or maybe you need to just slap on something on your robot for your next event, check that out. But if you're interested in winning the giveaway, type very thrifty in chat, and that's your opportunity to win. Don't forget, you do need to be a follower to win, and our subs do get some extra luck because we just rig it that way for them. So good luck, everybody. We'll draw very soon. We're also going to start we'll start a prediction poll when we get down to 2 and 1. But I will tell you this top 5 here is pretty crazy where everybody falls in. But before that, Mike, I think we're getting into our 26 through 50 ranks.
But first, I feel like the telescoping kit, you just stick a camera on top of that. That would be a fun off-season project. Like, whoop. Anyway, sorry, I was just staring at that.
Oh no, you're good.
No, that's fine. I went into because I accidentally pulled the wrong screen up. So sorry.
Oh man, I was like, man, that would be real fun to like stick a camera on the telescoping one. Only so you wouldn't have to have. We have like a kid that holds a pole with a camera on it to film matches. So in my mind, I was like, you could press a button and
go right up.
Anyway, moving on.
So on the screen here, Tyler has kind of a graphic of teams that were just outside the top 25 all the way up to 50. So you'll see a lot of teams here. I had one that stuck out. I was watching match footage of Waterloo, and I noticed that the Cybercabs 4678 has a absolute baller of an autonomous mode that I really like, and a lot of good gameplay. So I thought that they should have been on the top 25, and they only missed it by 1. And then maybe I would even have them maybe 20-ish, somewhere in there. Sure. But a lot of notable teams here. I don't know who sticks out to you guys as well, but
you guys go.
I mean, when you're talking about like Theory 6, Bumblebee, Symbotics, 610, the Crescent Coyotes, just a lot of teams on here that were just outside. So,
Christine, who was on
that
yours?
made it before? Go ahead, Christine.
Sorry, what did you say?
Who's on your top 50 that should have made it?
It was really hard because we're starting to see some teams again that, they're really starting to hit their stride. I could not believe how low Bumblebee was.
Yeah.
That's my too low.
Sure. Justin, how about you, man?
So it was like I was mentioning before, just teams that we mentioned before, like Super Duper Robotics had made the top 25 before.
Yep.
So to see them push down is a little bit surprising because again they have a great robot, and then some teams with like some like the ELOs over here for like Mechanical Advantage 21st, Galehawk 17th. So really some impressive numbers there, but just overall looking at this list, I still can't get over 650 different teams got at least one vote this week. We don't have great historical data on this show, but that has to be one of the most competitive weeks ever. So even and that's really what we talked about at the top of the show. If you missed it, that's really why we decided to include all the way to the top 50 this week, just because there were so many teams. Just like to give a shout out to the Robo Tiger 1776, one of the best teams in New York State year after year. So to see them just miss the list, getting some definite recognition for another great robot.
I was going to say them, but I hadn't really watched them compete yet, but I'm a huge 1796 super fan. We got to play with them at 2017 champs on Carson, and absolutely like some of the nicest people I've ever been able to work alongside, but then also like some of the just like hardest working people in the like highest pressure situation. So to see that they're doing so well this season, I guess I'm gonna have to agree with Justin. They should be higher as well.
And Christine, we were both competing, so you may have missed it, but 1796's drive coach Peter won the Woody Flowers Awards. That was awesome as well.
Congratulations! Odd story. So our human player Brian, the year of 2017, he actually moved from Long Island when he was in middle school, I think.
Well,
Christine's gone for now, so we'll bring her back in just a minute. So. Hey, Christine, you were out for about 10 seconds there, so that's all right. I'm gonna mute you for now just because you're coming in weird. So, all right. Real quick, let's go into.
GG.
Yeah, that's all right. We can't hear her. So,
her headphones died.
Yeah, let's go into a few things on here from this. To me, a couple teams that really stand out that have multiple blue banners. 4362 Gems picked up their second blue banner this week. Bare Metal 2046 is criminally low. They have a sub 5 second climb. There was actually I think that was in Clips of the Week, Mike, where they had a climb where they were going in just a few seconds on there. Yeah. So that's their second one. Spectrum 3847, how they end up at 43rd is crazy to me as well too. So quite a few teams. If I didn't mention, by the way, Super Duper Robotics, I think somebody else mentioned them, another team that really should be up there. But once again, who do you drop out?
Undefeated.
Yeah.
Who do you drop out?
Who do you drop out? That's the interesting thing, but that's why we want to include the top 50 this week. We'll see if we keep doing it, but these teams are absolutely fantastic on here. So it's we knew week 4 was going to be a crazy busy week. It was, and we appreciate everybody voting for it, and just keep it up going in the future weeks as well too.
Absolutely. Sure. All right, Justin, top 5, man. This is going to be pretty crazy. All these teams, this group of teams right here, man, is just something else. I'm excited to see how it plays out. I mean, I know how it plays out, but
yeah, I say you do know how it plays out.
I do.
All right, so we're going to start here in the 5th spot and talk about Team 3310 from Heath, Texas, Rockwall Heath High School. It's Blackhawk Robotics, 34-2 overall, and we're the winners, the Waco and Irving district events. So after seating second behind 148 in Waco, 3310 captured the number 1 team for themselves over 148 this past weekend in Irving. It was a star-studded event with lots of Texas powerhouses in attendance. They would play with and against all of them, making their run to the top seed even more impressive. They would again pair up with 148, and this time with 4610, and cruise to the district event win, topping out at a crazy impressive 158 unpenalized score in semifinal match 2. They even collided. This was impressive. They even collided with their alliance partners in that match and still hit their 5-ball autonomous, which was super impressive. And kudos to their programming team on that one. But the robot looks like it's in fast forward when it's on the field. It is really, really quick. It spends a lot of its time on 2 wheels, which is fine. But it's just a great robot. An awesome climb completes this well-rounded machine. So congrats to 3310 Blackhawk Robotics.
I just want to mention something else outside of Blackhawk, and that's something that's on screen actually right now, and that is your head referee Marco, and then the FTA Rachel. Rachel got Volunteer of the Year. Congratulations! And they just announced that they're expecting you as well too. So congratulations to both of them on that as well. And Marco is one of our hosts for our South region.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to move to the fourth spot, but stay in Texas and talk about Team 148 from Greenville, Texas. Greenville High School, it's the Robo Wranglers, 34-2 overall, and with the winners, the Waco and Irving district events. In fact, I just said those, the same exact thing. Yep. 2 events and 2 blue banners for 148. Looking at their stats in the Blue Alliance, an average match score for them over 90 points, which is crazy high. 3310 was the only other team over 90 points, and everyone else was in the 60s. And wouldn't you know it, they would team up again for the playoffs. Like I mentioned with 3310, they put up some crazy impressive scores. 148, I'm a big streak guy. 148 hasn't lost an event since 2018, where they also went on that year to win a world championship. They are the defending first in Texas district champions. So Quick Draw is a great machine. Their turret tracking, if you haven't seen it, it's probably one of the fastest that I've seen. There's some great turrets in FRC this season, but 148 definitely has one of the best. The robots almost always tracking the high goal. Their drive team is really good. The second that second ball goes in, they're shooting. It really looks like another impressive machine from Texas. So another trip to Einstein remains to be seen, but good luck to 148, the Robo Wranglers.
I did not realize they had that streak there, Justin.
Yeah, there's a lot of I usually kind of save a lot of the streak stuff for the end few teams. There's a lot of good streaks in FRC right now. A lot of teams are winning and winning consistently, which is great to see because in fact it hasn't necessarily been that way. I also can't believe the amount of events that I don't know how many first fields there are, but there are just so many events going on at once. I guess I didn't realize that until recently, but the logistical nightmare of that just is crazy.
Oh, I know. We had Evan Wright, right?
Yeah.
I know. I think he still works at First, but I think that's like part of his job is just to coordinate all the shipping and stuff. You're right. I looked at it. What do you think the number is? Like 30?
No, there's way more than that. There's way more than that. It's
but districts own their own fields for things too. So yeah, I don't know how many travel kits are.
Regardless,
it's not the logistics. Hey, I do want to ask chat and chat what your opinion is between 3310 and 148. Who do you got? If you got to pick between two, I think they're very interchangeable, and I really like them both. My gut actually says 3310 this year, but I love both the robots. I think where they are. I
think I might lean there with you.
Yeah, but let us know, chat. Type in chat. Do you think 3310 or 148? If you had to pick one, who are you taking on your alliance? Where do you want picking you? Would probably be a better.
3310 is just a smidge faster. That's all I would say. They're extremely close. 3310 is just maybe a little bit faster. That's all. But in this game, you don't really get up to high speed that often. Yeah.
And also, before we get into number 3, once we start number 3, we will start our Twitch predictions. So if you're interested in wagering your free fun bucks and hopes to get some more, you can do that. That will pop up right when we announce number 3 for the final 2 teams. And, of course, we will close it once we announce number 2. Man, these final 3 are absolutely insane, man.
Speaking of interchangeable, these top 3 teams. But we're going to start here in the 3rd spot with 1690. From Bini Amina Hazafan, Israel, it's Orbit. 51 wins, only 3 losses overall. One of the first teams I've noticed to get over 50 wins this season. Winners of the ISR events 1 and 3, as well as the Israel District Championship. With all the buzz around this robot from the first time they hit their field, really from the first time we saw the release video, 1690 has maintained and earned that buzz as the season has gone on. After ranking 2 at both their district events, 1690 finally broke through and earned the number 1 seed at the district championship. So unfortunately, I couldn't find the video of their Elam matches on TBA, but it seems like the Alliance was consistently scoring at least 7 auto cargo in each one of their matches, as well as nearly 40 balls in the high hub, adding that to the double traverse, 1690 and 1577. I think, this was something we probably all saw coming for Orbit this year. 2 district wins and winning the district championship. But they sometimes living up to expectations is not always easy, but they've executed it very well. They will be on the top alliance in Houston, and I'm very excited to track them as they work towards another potential trip to Einstein. 1690 orbit.
Yeah, by the way, just to mention on their video, so First Israel does not have ISR3 videos on their YouTube page, and their Twitch page is currently suspended. So, yeah, this is pretty hard. Yeah, a different story. Nothing we need to go into detail about, but the page that was on it currently had, and they removed VODs on it too, so we're VODs on it. So I don't know what's up with that. And I didn't want to put DCMP stuff on it because they'll be eligible for next week, and assuming they'll be on the top 25, which they will be, we'll show DCMP footage from there as well. But to me, I personally still think 1690 is the best team in the world. They would be my number one personally, but this robot is just insane to see. And Israel had a lot of defense being played too, so it's not like it was them just scoring unmolested the whole time.
Right. I was actually.
All the dramas.
Go ahead. Yeah, all the drama.
I'm saying all the dramas in the 2 spot.
All right. So is the poll closed?
2-1. It's close. Good timing.
All right. In the 2 spot is team number 1678 from Davis, California, Davis Senior High School. It's the Citrus Circuits, 33-2 overall, and with the winners, the Wyoming and Sacramento Regionals. So another machine that always creates a lot of hype with the robot release videos. Usually it's around week 2 of build season, make us all feel great. Living up to that hype every year, however, is 1678. Their robot probably possesses the most effective cargo system in terms of selecting cargo for the right alliance, spitting out balls that aren't, and definitely one of my favorite robots of the season. They also, which is really cool if you haven't seen it yet, they added a routine to their autonomous because they were running their 2-ball, while 254 was running their 5-ball. And after they run their 2-ball, they pick up 2 cargo of the opposing alliance and shoot them over into their hangar area, which is a tricky spot to get the ball. So a really cool feature showing again that 1678 is always improving. Their Elam's alliance of 254 and 5458 topped out at 180 points and have set the mark for playoff play. So 1678 also picked up the Chairman's Award for some gold cling bling. And good luck next week to 1678 as they look to go 3 for 3 this season.
I will also mention, because I know it's important to them, they also got the Dean's List Finalist Award on their team as well. We had Dave Powers on yesterday. So if you, by the way, you want to hear more about Citrus and their entire build process, Dave Powers was on yesterday on FRC Roundup. And there's a good 15-20 minute segment on everything 1670 and their build iterations this season. So go check that out.
So, Justin, I know we talk a lot about their sorter, and that's kind of the easy thing to focus on. Their whole game is absolutely incredible. But being behind the glass during this game, how beneficial, or how, like, if your robot had that, does that, like, could you explain, like, in terms for us, like, what that would mean for a robot from the perspective of behind the glass?
Yeah, so for us, I mean, it was important enough that we tried to do it. We installed, between Tech Valley and Buckeye, we installed color sensors to try to emulate a little bit what Citrus does, but it also just gives more credit to them. It's incredibly difficult. It's not as easy. I guess this should go without saying. It's not as easy as they make it look, but it is incredibly. Our drive does spend a lot of time trying to pick around cargo that does kind of congregate together. So the fact that they can just kind of go through and pick and spit and the different cargo is super advantageous for them. It's definitely something that makes them, again, it's when you're competing in California, especially with the teams that they compete against, the separation among teams isn't high. So whenever you can find these little things to just be a little bit better than everyone else, it helps a ton. And even their auto routine, like I talked about, it just those little things that just, in a game
not
like
wasting
this,
time doing something. Yeah.
In a game like this, where I feel like at the highest level, it's going to be like a missed shot here or there, an unlucky bounce here that's going to ultimately make the difference. There's little things that you can do to be a little bit better, just increases your chances of
seconds shaved off. Yeah, exactly.
On the right side of the 161 to 159 final score.
Mm-hmm. I was excited to see. Is my audio working again?
Yeah, you can now.
Okay, cool.
We're back.
I was really excited to see them play against defense, and they missed quite a lot of shots in the finals matches. But I mean, a team that just consistently keeps getting better. I'm sure that they're practicing with the 20 other robots that are at their field and pooping away each day and coming up with new strategies for whatever comes next. One thing I wanted to mention real quick about some of the teams that we had mentioned before when my audio was all messed up. 3310 and 148. If you had asked me pick one of them, at first I would say 3310. I think they came out of the gate faster and hotter than 148 did at their first event. 148 is definitely hit their stride, I think. I know that they went through a lot of change just structurally as a team, and obviously nobody would know because they look like 148 through and through. And then one other fun stat that I had about both of those teams is that 100% of the teams that are hitting the fit districts with Ruby stickers on them have won every single event that they've gone to. So that could be the secret sauce for Champs and Einstein this year. Who knows? But anyway, sorry, I had to get that stat in. But 1678, I'm excited they finally grabbed their chairman's banner for the year. I'm excited to see them go show up at Houston and kind of show the chairman's judging what they've got. I think they've been able to present at Champs at least once, but I know that the COVID season definitely kind of derailed that experience for their students in previous seasons. So I'm excited that they'll be there this year. So congrats to Citrus again on another win.
All right. So I think there was just a team update that was released recently, which we are going to talk about at the end of the show here, but we do want to finish off the top 25 first. So without further ado, in the first spot is team number 254 from San Jose, California, Bellarmine College Prep. It's the Cheesy Poofs, 16-1 overall, and were the winners of the Sacramento Regional. So it took 4 long weeks before we were able to see what the Poofs had for Rapid React, and when we saw it in the field, we weren't disappointed. Dual intakes, skip the high bar climb, swerve for the first time, and a turret, really cool turret actually, makes 254 the quality example for first. Whenever I think about the quality award, I think of 254. So improvement has kind of been the theme of the whole show. It's difficult to see really how much better the Poofs can get. They really are. I was before the season, I was not concerned, but I was interested to see how coming out of COVID would affect certain teams. Certain teams have had an explosion in their own, team membership post-COVID. Some teams have lost a lot. But it was important to me that the powerhouse team still had those inspirational robots. And 254 definitely still has that. So they, like I talked about with 1678, they did pair up at the Silicon Valley event along with 5458. They put up some incredibly high numbers, well over 100 and average well over 150 points. Their low score was 131 and finals 1 against the Gray Bots Alliance. But another great machine from 254. They are not done yet, of course. They are competing at the Silicon Valley Regional Week 6, and then it will be on to Houston for this Hall of Fame team. So another great robot from 254, and congrats to them on making it to the #1 spot at one of the most hotly contested top 25s of all time.
I mean, it's just incredible to see these teams come out at their first event. And granted, this is, it's week 4. 254 has had, 4 weeks competition season, but it's just always so impressive to see teams come out this strong at an event and just like dominate. That there's no gremlins, there's no issue. I mean, I'm sure they probably have maybe some issues here and there, but like just absolutely just plowing through the field and just playing this game at such a high level so early in their competition season, even though it is like week 4, so just insane machine once again from the Poofs. And it was awesome to watch their matches.
For sure. So obviously a large point of discussion after the past few weeks, we've talked about it a few times, is teams getting locked out, gates being closed on teams in playoff matches, something that we wanted some clarification from First HQ about, something that we wanted to see improvements on. And this blog post from Frank Merrick, FRC director, really seems to address some of those things. I'm just trying to look over the handout here that I can link.
In personal opinion, address, but maybe not satisfy.
Yeah, well, it's kind of yeah. I'm just trying to get caught up here on this.
Well, let me bring up team update 19 real quick, and we're only going to take a few minutes for this to go through. But long story short, for timeouts are now 2 minutes longer. And there you go. And the one other thing, timeouts begin once the hangars are clear of robots and the match results have been posted on there is when the timeouts begin. It still only provides a 2-minute additional extension after field timeouts as well, which is something I really was hoping they were going to say, okay, you get an extra 6 minutes for this. I mean, I guess realistically though, it's only 2 minutes less than what that would have been, right? Because if you back before, it would be field timeout was 6 plus your timeout was 2. I wanted 2 6s, so that would have been 12. So I guess they're meeting in between and doing 10 minutes for that max. But so yeah, field timeouts are 2 extra minutes on there. There's some additional information, Justin. I don't know if you read on the blog post of meeting and requiring somebody from the Alliance actually to be part of it in the referee meeting, that sort of thing. Anything else you derived out of this?
No, I think this is, I think they wanted to go meet teams a little bit without necessarily changing what referees have been trained on in the off season and all that stuff. I guess what makes me most hopeful is that they are also committing to reviewing the entire timeout procedure in the off season. So hopefully, in years to come, that referees have a little bit more leeway with what they're able to allow as far as letting teams on the field, just to avoid. And Frank admits here, it's a no-win situation all around. Nobody was happy about it. So definitely feels good to have our feelings heard from First HQ. A pretty timely response from them about it, recognizing that there is
it's been 2
improvements
weeks
that can be made. Yeah, well,
2 weekends.
I guess maybe the straw was the entire Alliance at Long Island getting locked out of their playoff match, the quarterfinal tiebreaker. No less.
I agree with Mick Lasso. Like it doesn't address the lockout rules, and that was really the big thing, right? Like, yeah, I guess an additional 2 minutes is nice, but it kind of feels like it's just like, here's a little more to get you to be quiet for now, sort of thing.
So exactly, yeah. I mean, just looking at this briefly, looking at Team Update 19. I mean, it's like I haven't not looked at the rule book. I don't have a team. I don't. This is like a bunch of jargon. Like I can understand why it's so confusing. Like you really have to read this again, read this a third time to really kind of follow everything that they're saying in here. My other thoughts are, yes, they really don't necessarily address the lockout issue. There is the last paragraph there. He says that Frank says, to emphasize that we instruct our volunteers to follow the rule book that First HQ has put in place. Please don't take it on the volunteers. Take it up with us. But we the thing is they have taken up with you the last 2 weeks. Granted, thank you for something, but it's just, I understand. I am a very kind of black and white person. I understand you don't make it. You don't make it. Per the rule book, you have to have order to have or you have chaos. However, there should be some grace there too. And this is where I get frustrated too, where it's the same thing with the 204 penalties. Some people are not calling it because it's they maybe don't agree with it, but the team that gets shut out and they're literally at the field there with the door open, that doesn't make sense. So maybe we'll see some more updates next season or something, but I guess it's better for now and hopefully there's not as much, but the lockout issue is kind of really, the lockout issue was the thing of the bigger concern, and that really wasn't addressed, I guess is what we're seeing.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion. And we're just reading this for the first time too, everybody. So, if we're missing something, please correct us on it as we're, reading this live as we go through. So, I mean, like I said, appreciate that, something is being done. I just wish it was a bit more. So, yeah,
we just put, we put so much on volunteers, that have had trainings and they've gone through things and stuff like that. But there's just, we put so much on people that are doing this for free.
So the only thing I'll say is I agree, the head referee is a volunteer, but the FTA is a paid employee, or not employee, but is a paid position, if I remember, at regional levels. And, regional directors, show ready events and stuff like that, who, are also running behind the show. I mean, those are paid positions for things. And it is the FTA and head referee to make the decisions, the final decisions on that. Yeah, I mean, I'll still agree with you. I mean, they are individuals that just take everything out of them is not the right course of action for anything. But on the other hand, I do think there should be some leeway to be able to make a decision if you need to in the moment. And to be honest with you, they could have made that decision. I don't think nobody would have came back on a public level and be like, you should have strictly enforced that 6 minute timeout sort of thing. Maybe First would on them. I don't know, but it is a no-win situation. but there's still things that can be done better.
What kills me, and I can't remember if I mentioned this last week or not, we meaning like events, we will spend
a great point.
15 minutes to get a random qualification match 17, a team connected. Well, if FTA is out, we'll spend 20 minutes to make sure a team doesn't get bypassed for a calls match. But if you're not out there the second that timeout ends for finals match 1, you're not playing. And it just doesn't, there's just something not right about that.
Yeah, like I think we talked about before, like maybe do some awards here and there or something. Absolutely. I don't know, but you do have some teams that are busy that might be winning that award who are also, so this is a big topic, but I think there are some different ways to just say, like, we're going to spend 10 minutes in between quarters and semis. We're going to spend 10 minutes or more, 15, 20. I understand it's boring for people watching online, boring for people watching in-house, but you get better products at the end.
It's just so stressful. Like, robots are beat up. It's the finals or it's playoffs. Like, it is so stressful, and they're always the most strict in that time. Like, if we knew we'd have a nice 6-minute timeout, a nice, give the quality award and the teamwork or the judges award, whatever, just give us 15, 20 minutes to make sure we're ready to go. It would be such a better team experience instead of the insane stress that teams and pit crews feel during those late playoff matches.
Mm-hmm. And I think too, like, and I try to reframe this for like our new director of Any First. I tried to point out an example of like just how absolutely egregious like some of the behavior of a volunteer that is just rushing a situation that does not need to be rushed. It's like, this is a like physical and mental situation that a student typically is not enduring. So it's not an intuitive process, like physically or mentally, which is honestly like not the safest thing with what you're doing. You're operating on like a really, like intricate machine that has a lot of parts that could, hurt the student that's working on it. If you've given a student like the heads up as a cuer, you need to be on the field in X amount of minutes, and they physically and like visually acknowledge it, your job's done, in my opinion. You have given them the opportunity to like, be reminded that, look, you have to be somewhere in X amount of time, and you saw that they acknowledged it and heard you. Like, step aside, let the students work on what they're doing, and don't apply any more external pressure on an already high stress situation. Like, I get that there are rules and like boundaries that we have to, stay within when it comes to giving teams and students the time that they need in order to fix the robot, especially during the playoffs. But to say, you need to not be able to go back to your pit or blah, blah, blah. It's like, let's remember this is a high school robotics competition, and we certainly haven't been in these high pressure situations in at least 2 years in person. So as much as I agree that like we do need to make sure that there's consistency between events, I really think it's messed up to be locking teams out of an event that they've paid to be at. Their customers. Like, if we're really looking at the clock, it's like, okay, what about the person during opening ceremonies that may have been a bit of a rain delay, like leading up to this point? We couldn't have made any wiggle room. Sorry. Like, I have zero tolerance for that at this point, especially when it's a volunteer that's making the choice to add extra pressure to a student's like situation already. So if you're volunteering moving forward, keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm. Now, is this something that the district level could like just take upon themselves and do a little differently? I don't know how, like,
I mean,
I don't know. Like,
event,
the timeout is timeout. Like, I mean, it's a personal decision, I guess, like that whoever's, making the call, whether it's the FTA, the head ref, or combined, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I think we're going to leave it at that. I'm sure many more discussions that happen in the future. If you want to continue, of course, hop in our Discord at discord.gg/first-updates now, and let us know what you think on that, or, of course, comment on YouTube after this gets posted. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the FRC Top 25.
You have the giveaway to do, too.
Week 4. I actually drew for it. I was going to announce. I drew for it as we were talking.
Okay, gotcha.
Just expedite stuff along. But, yeah, congratulations to...
we didn't win.
No, you didn't. To Alpha Lupo 717. For winning that. Make sure you reach out to First Updates Now or Tyler, myself on Discord, so we can get that to you. Need your name and email. But once again, thank you to all those who clicked the follow button and stepped up to keep fun, loud, live, and independent with your subscription. We really do appreciate it. It really does make a difference. So thank you so much. Your support really helps us continue to make great content. Don't forget, you can watch FRC Top 25 archived at youtube.com/first updates now. Watch live Tuesdays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right after our FRC Pick'em Weekly show. Don't forget the vote. Y'all did a great job this past week. Polls open Sunday afternoon and close Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Yes, they did. By the way, thanks to Christine, Mike, and Justin. Real quick roundtable. Christine, we'll start with you. Are you headed to an event this week?
Not this week, as far as I know.
All right. Justin?
Yeah.
No, we're just unpacked our pit today from Buckeye. We're thinking about what changes we want to make and getting ready for Houston.
Mike, you're not anywhere this week?
Yeah. Not anywhere this week. Probably be watching CVR, Las Vegas, and Bayou.
There we go.
Be watching those three.
Yeah, I will be at the Las Vegas Regional. It is the only event that I still MC. I really love the Las Vegas Regional. So
Nice.
I'll be interviewing a few teams there, probably not as many as we typically do in a week, but definitely we'll try to hit a couple heavy hitters there. And so if you're at Las Vegas Regional, please come and say hi. And of course, we have fun hosts. They're going to be all at different events all over the place. So keep an eye out for them. They'll be with their teams and volunteering and stuff. So they won't be wearing fun apparel most likely. But if you do see one that you've seen on air, go say hi. We'd love to speak with you. So thanks a lot, everybody, for voting in the FRC Top 25, being part of it. We'll see you next week, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Talk to you next time. See you then. Good night, everybody. Thanks to Kettering University for their support of this video. Kettering University hosts 3 co-op employment fairs each year for incoming and current students. Participating in the co-op employment process at Kettering is a great way to begin turning your robotics experience into a professional career to earn money towards graduating debt-free. If you are a senior, it's not too late to apply at kettering.edu/apply. Thanks to Stryker Careers for their support in this video. First alumni and mentors are making Stryker a top priority for their internships and careers. That's because Stryker knows that those in FIRST are the leaders and innovators of tomorrow. If you want to help make the world a better place by creating life-saving medical devices and technology, get started at careers.stryker.com. Thanks for watching. If you want to join us for future fun streams, be sure to click the follow button and turn on the notification bell to know when we're live. Keep the conversation going and provide your input to our content. View archives and unique content at youtube.com/firstupdatesnow. Join our Discord at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow. And check out Fun FTC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and First Updates Now on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.